Now, The Bad Shepherd is a 2024 movie that tells the classic tale of how the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Now, this is a genre-bending thriller with a grim message wrapped in a biblical parable. And here are 5 reasons you should watch The Bad Shepherd. Coming up on SYNOPSIS Horror. Now, The Bad Shepherd tells an age-old parable of how the love of money can destroy a person's humanity and morality. Now, in this movie, we are introduced to a few guys who are on a hunting trip in the snow and mistakenly run over and kill a woman who is carrying a couple of million in a duffel bag. Now, realizing that she's dead, instead of locating the authorities and doing the right thing, they decide to hide and bury her body. But that mistake turns out to be costly because as they do so, they start to meet new individuals who are otherwise innocent. But because of their newfound wealth, they begin to run through any and everyone they meet, thinking that these individuals are after their money. But then, they have a sort of come to Jesus moment when they are abruptly found by a stranger named Sydney, who insists that they either turn over his money willingly or unwillingly. Now, the hunters, thinking Sydney has armed backup, decide to tie Sydney up and hold him for hostage while trying to figure out their way out of this scenario. Now, this final act of rebellion turns out to be deadly as Sydney uses his knowledge and verbal tactical skills to sow discord among the men until they begin to turn each other all for that duffel bag full of money. And if you wish to know how this story ends, then you'll have to watch this movie when it drops. So, why should you watch this movie? Reason number 1, you'll never guess how this movie ends. Now, the reason you'll never guess how this ends is because the genre of this movie changes during this final act, and it subverts any expectation you would have had previously. I mean, there were times when I 100% thought that I was following how this movie would end, and the twist during that final act made me realize that this wasn't the movie that I thought I saw. Though the twist was one that I didn't see coming, the twist was also a welcome concept. Reason number 2, nothing is as it seems. Now, this is a rather sophisticated movie that gives you a hint of what's going to come, but the hints are so vague, you really never put it together. I'm going to be honest. I thought this was a movie where our hunters get involved with the mob and they're in a no-win situation, but as it turns out, nothing was random. And I like the idea of being fooled if the payoff is good. And to me, the payoff was pretty sweet. Reason number 3, Sydney steals the show. Now, the stranger that our hunters meet is the sole reason you'll want to watch this movie. I mean, he has a way with words and is as silver-tongued as they come. I mean, he talks in parables and he is transparent and vague at the same time. And though our hunters are the ones with the guns and Sydney is the one being held hostage, at no point in this movie do you feel that Sydney is in any danger. I mean, he's calm while his captors are frantic and paranoid. And he is the star of this movie. And you know, from the moment that he shows up, that the guys with the guns, which are the captors, are the ones that are really in danger. Reason number 4, money talks. Now, the moment our hunters are introduced to that bag full of money, you start to see their descent into madness. And the money makes them go to some really dark parts of their soul. I mean, they do unspeakable things to innocent people. They do unspeakable things to each other. And if there was a movie that was the living embodiment that there's no honor among thieves, this is your movie. And reason number 5, it makes you think. I mean, there are times in this movie where you become introspective. I mean, how far would you go for life-changing money? Would you kill for it? Would you cover up crimes? Would you be willing to turn your back on friends if you knew that you could both be rich and get away with your crimes? I mean, it's questions that only the viewer themselves can answer. So, The Bad Shepherd is a movie that caught me by surprise, and I had fun with it because it took me on a ride that I really wasn't ready for. And I highly recommend this movie and look forward to hearing your thoughts about it. But if you wish to see this movie, then be on the lookout for it on February 23rd. And until next time, when SYNOPSIS Horror.